All right, what's up, guys? We got the first Mike G Lessons, I guess, video podcast. Really cool. So joining me today is we got Matt Bloom from the band Breed. Thanks for joining me, bro. As some of you guys may know, Breed, they're like a metal band that's just tearing shit up lately, right? Would you say that's accurate?
Oh yeah, so far, so
So
far.
cool. Yeah, so Matt's lead guitar. He's actually one of my former students, but he's come so far on his own, man. Like he's been going, I think, like years now since we last had a lesson or whatnot. But we're here just to kind of talk some stuff and bullshit around a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Cool. So Matt, how's your day going so far, bro?
Pretty good. Honestly, a whole lot of nothing. I woke up super late on the
All
musician
right.
schedule.
All right.
Um,
That sounds like my
so
life. All right, cool.
I pretty much woke
Nice,
up
bro.
about an hour ago.
Yeah. So just like give me a little background about yourself, like what you're doing these days, like what Breed's up to. What's your like band schedule like, I guess.
Band schedule is always crazy. One thing about being in a band that nobody tells you when you start is that every day, whether it's if it's not a gig or practice, there's always something to do.
Yeah.
Especially in the social media age where you have to be a content creator and you have to,
Oh, for sure.
get yourself out there. So
Yeah.
right now we're gearing up to do two shows next week with Bastardane, which is going to be sick.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and I think Fury and Few I think is the other band. So we're doing St. Pete and Orlando with those guys.
Okay, cool.
Then we get a couple weeks off, and then we're doing Orlando with Post Profit and Silly Goose, which are two
Sick.
bands that are super big right now. Post Profit just got signed to, I want to say, Epitaph or Soundscape
Okay.
record,
That
but
was like
um,
Offspring's label, I think, right? Like
yeah,
Epitaph.
it might be Sound. It's either Soundscape or Epitaph, but they just
Okay.
got signed by a cool label. Silly
Sick.
Goose is a sick band out of Atlanta. We did Louder Than Life with those guys. We met them there,
All
but
right.
they got like kind of popular off of. They would go to like a Buc-ee's parking lot or like a Walmart
Okay.
parking and take a generator and throw a show like in the parking
Okay.
lot until like
That
the
sounds
cops.
pretty sick. Yeah.
It's super sick. You should definitely
Is
check
that
it
kind of
out.
like the What Is Up Denny's gig? Like kind of.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then
Yeah.
they would always get shut down by the cops, which
All
is
right.
always the best part of the
Cool.
video. But
I
we're
mean,
doing,
rock and roll, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So.
exactly. But yeah, we got some shows coming up with them, and then we just got out of the studio. We just finished four new songs. Finally got those back. So now we're going through the process of releasing all those, getting cover art, getting all the lyrics, and we just shot a music video a couple weeks ago for one of them.
Sick.
So it's always something. It's always
And that's
something.
up on your YouTube.
It will be. It will be. I
Okay,
think.
cool.
I think it's going to come out like mid-November. We were supposed to be
All right.
October, but we ran into a couple roadblocks, so I think we had to push it
Okay,
back.
cool. And I'll throw
But
the link up for the Breed YouTube here,
yeah, for sure.
so you
We have
guys definitely check it out.
we have some
Um,
music videos up there already. So
Sick. Yeah, you guys are on your way, man. Like I said. So I've always given you the feedback that like I say you guys are like the second coming of Pantera. So you know what I mean. So you can
I
put that in
appreciate
your
that.
biography, like you can use my name. But being that as it may, like I know your background's a lot of metal. Like who would you say like your top influences were, like picking up the guitar to create the sound you do now? You know.
Yeah, so picking up the guitar, I think a lot of like my main influences, some I wear completely on my sleeve, and others may surprise some people. Like being in a metal band, I don't really come from like a super heavy background. As you know, it was more like Green Day was the first band that really where
Yeah,
I was
mine
like this
too.
feels
Yeah.
like something I could do, you know. So like I'd say Billy Joe Armstrong was kind of the start of it for me, and just
Okay.
learning the power chords and the basic strumming patterns. And then it was obviously Slash, which is why I got the Les Paul
Absolutely.
and the whole thing. So Slash is kind of what made me want to like learn how to solo and stuff like that.
True.
And then I'd put probably like Zach Wild was pretty much like the first kind of heavier guitar player I really got into from like a tone wise.
Right. Right. Right.
And
I know you're a big
that's where
Zach
I
fan.
found out about like down tuning and drop C tuning and drop D.
Now, is that what you guys tune in now for most of the Breed stuff, or?
Pretty much everything is D standard or drop C
Okay.
at this point. When we first started, we had some standard and some half step, but now none of that's heavy enough for us.
Okay.
So it's
I was
all
gonna
D.
say it sounds pretty low when I listen to it.
Yeah, yeah, which
Yeah,
might
so it's like,
makes it's a pain in the ass sometimes on the guitar, but
yeah.
I keep having it. Actually, I just picked up these beefy slinkies, which are
Okay. Word.
these go 11 to 54, which I've been
Okay,
trying.
so you got the 54 on the low. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been trying those out for a little bit, because
Nice, man.
we get low. Like we just did a cover of Before I Forget by Slipknot,
Okay.
and the band picked it out, and I'm like, holy shit, I have to go to drop B. So like, yeah, so we definitely get down there. But yeah, I would say Billy Joe / Zach Wild, and then you
Okay.
obviously get into Dime and Kirk Hammett and Hetfield, Kerry King from Slayer. You know, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So let's talk about your gear. You know, because nobody likes to talk about their gear when they play guitar. You know. So give me like just like a quick breakdown, like what's your main guitar, main amp setup, and then like I guess if you're throwing any pedals down, what's your go-tos?
Okay, yeah. So guitar wise, I've always been a Gibson guy.
Okay.
I obviously couldn't afford one for a while, so I started with Epiphones,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
finally bought this. This is a 2019 traditional.
Okay.
And I was a little skeptical about buying one of the newer Gibsons, but the guy Caesar who took over the company did a whole U-Haul on Gibson, and this thing it's just, again, it's a traditional, so it's just your bare bones Les Paul.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
And
I know
I
it sounds
saw
great,
it.
man.
Yeah, dude, I saw it on the rack at Guitar Center of all places, and I'm like, this thing's coming home with me.
And that's stock.
Pretty. I did a couple upgrades. I put a
Okay.
Seymour Duncan super distortion in the
Okay.
bridge and a
Sick.
59 in the neck.
Hell yeah,
Um,
man. Yeah.
and then I like changed like the pickup rings to black, the pickups to black, and like the knobs to black. But everything else is pretty much stock. So you know, Gibson Les Paul. I play Charvels a lot too because I love Strats, but obviously don't really have room for single coils in the band.
Yeah, I hear
Um,
you. Like the.
but yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
But I love Charvels. I use a San Dimas with a Floyd for a couple
okay.
songs. I use that one a lot in the studio too.
Sick.
And those are pretty much my two main guitars. I have another backup Les Paul that's like a 92 Studio, which is sick. And then amps wise, I'm obsessed with EVH amps.
Okay. Yeah, those things are sick, bro.
And all things considered, I mean, they're affordable as far as great amps go, and it's got more gain than you could ever need in your life. So that
That's
takes
not a bad thing.
yeah, that takes a distortion pedal out of my rig. The cleans are beautiful. So I play a 50-watt 6L6 EVH head through a 4x12 Mesa cabinet. I really like that pairing. I went through the 2x12 EVH for a bit,
Sure.
but it just wasn't, something was missing. And then I bought this 4x12 Mesa cabinet off of, I think it's got like greenback speakers in it too. Like
Okay.
kind of, it was upgraded and modded by our producer. So I took that off his hands. I've been playing through that. And then pedal wise, I'm pretty simple. I got the Kirk Hammett wah.
Yeah.
I run that.
Nice.
I
It's a
got
good
like,
one, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's great. It's just, you know, like I had the Dimebag one for a while, and I love the way that sounds.
Yeah.
But there's too many bells and whistles for me. Like
True.
I just want to step on the wah and know
Yeah.
the sound I'm gonna get.
Yeah, and the
Uh,
Kirk one has that nice kind of like mid to upper range sweep. I wouldn't say it's on the low side, which I like as well. So
yeah,
it works for just that really cut through sound.
yeah, exactly. And there's times where I'll press on it and keep it in the, you know, keep it down for like some really high lead stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that. And then from there it goes into like a digital delay. Actually, I think you gave it to me. I believe.
Oh yeah, was that the DD3, right? Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
delay pedal.
I love
That's
that
been
thing, man.
around, man. That's been around.
Yeah,
It's got a
dude.
lot of mojo in it, man.
Yeah. So I go through that. I don't have any crazy delay, just a little something for leads.
Okay.
And then I use like a MXR Phase 90, like the orange
Nice.
EVA, like Eddie Van Halen one.
EVH, kind of like
Yeah.
that throwback.
That is just for a couple parts and like Only World and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then what else? Obviously a noise gate is the most important pedal to have as a metal guitar player,
Yeah, I bet.
as a guitar player in general, I think. But those EVHs have so much gain. If you don't have a noise gate, it's almost
Yeah.
untouchable. So that, and then just a tuner and a like a super chorus, just standard super
Nice.
chorus for more chordy, you know, chorus stuff. So
Nice, man. Yeah, speaking of the noise suppressing pedal, I mentioned maybe think of John 5 because he's a very simple guy. He got the I think the super chorus noise suppressor, and I forget the third pedal he uses. I think it's a Boss pedal. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, no, dude, I mean, as far as pedals go, I try to keep it pretty simple. I'm not like, I'm a gear nerd because every guitar player is a gear nerd, but I don't really know that much about it. So I kind of
Sure.
just try to keep it simple and keep it to where when I plug in and play, I know the sound I'm going to get, and I keep everything, pretty much there.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
So you mentioned Dimebag. So while we're on the topic, I got to ask you, what do you think of the whole Pantera reunion? With Zach Wilde and the drummer from Anthrax, Charlie.
Charlie Benante. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Your
gonna lie.
thoughts?
At first, I was a little skeptical. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie. As, like being not like a gatekeeper purist or anything, but it was more of just
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like doing a Van Halen reunion without Eddie and Alex.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you.
It's like, how do you do that?
Like maybe one.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but maybe like a one-off show here and there.
Yeah.
But so at first I was a little like, oh man, I don't know. But again, Zach being one of my favorite players, they got the only guys that could do the job.
Yeah.
Like
I agree. Like you're not going to get anybody but Zach Wild. Like that's
exactly. And
so.
seeing clips of it, and I've Jake, our bass player, went and saw him. It though after the first show I saw, though I think they played in Mexico City, I was like, all right, I'm on board. Like this makes sense. It's all respect. Like I think Charlie on his bass drums has like a picture of Dime and Vinny,
Yeah.
and they do a whole tribute thing. So it's I think it's more of a tribute to Pantera.
Yeah.
And
And
Phil
Zach's been adamant about saying that too. He's just like,
yeah,
this is just
yeah, and it's been completely respectful. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. I missed it a couple times. But yeah, I mean, I'm on board for it now. I think it's great. It's introducing younger people to the band that made, and I never thought I'd get to experience Pantera live. So to even have that as an option, I think is great. Whether it's,
yeah, man.
But so I see both sides of it. But for now, I mean, I think it's sick, and I think Zach's been getting a lot of shit kind of for like not playing it exactly like Dime, but what do you expect? If Eddie Van Halen plays a Pantera song, it's going to sound like Eddie.
Dude, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it'd be great. Right? But so it's like, what do you expect? Of course, it sounds like Zach Wild, and I think it's cool. He's not trying to perfectly replicate everything. He's still keeping his own flavor in there, which I think is cool.
Nice. So, I want to do one thing in every interview I do where, I kind of throw the complete opposite type of guitarist at you and just get your opinion on them. And I'm going to pick a different one every time. So I'm just going to throw it out there and you tell me your thoughts immediately. Cool. Keith Urban.
Underrated.
Okay.
Underrated, amazing songwriter, obviously a great singer, great chord voicings, and he does a lot of just stuff that you wouldn't expect from a kind of a pop country guy. Yeah. And when you really dig into it, it's a lot of really cool stuff, and great lead player too in his own right.
Yeah, totally agree with that, man. And the John Mayer, Keith Urban Crossroads, one of the best performances in general of all time, I'd say.
And for anybody to get up and compete with John Mayer is
so. If the one guy's going to do it, it's going to be him.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. So let's talk about like your studio process. Now I know in Breed you guys have a second guitar player as Bentley, right?
Yeah.
So now he's primarily a rhythm player, and you do primarily leads, or
yeah,
okay, cool. So in the studio, do you guys split it that way, or do you kind of take track of the guitars and kind of do everything, almost like James Hetfield covering all the rhythms to double them, or do you guys like individually, or?
So studio wise, I'd say 90% of everything you hear is me. Bentley doesn't really come into the studio. He's more kind of like a live guy. All due respect, he's just got his own life and his own schedule, and he lives 3.5 hours away. So I usually cover the guitars. Jay, our singer, is an incredible guitar player. He writes a lot of our stuff. He and I write a lot. He and I play really well together. So he'll come in and do rhythm. Like I think he did the chorus in one of the songs on the new EP that's coming out. So I'd say 90% of it's me, and then sometimes Jay will play a part. There's a couple parts that our producer went in and played. So we kind of share it between, but it's like 90% me. But Bentley's not in the studio on that.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Sick. All right, cool. So off music question again. So what do you do like in your spare time? I remember Breed had this YouTube web series that I used to say was my new favorite reality show. I admit though I'm not caught up on it. I know you guys dropped a few new episodes since I last watched it, but there was an episode dedicated to you playing golf, which I think most people would find really funny, and you're actually really good. So,
yeah. I mean that's my only like other thing I have. It kind of helps me get away for a little bit.
Hmm.
Something I've been playing since I was about 5 years old. That was really like my first love. So yeah, golf is like I try and play at least once a week, if not twice a week.
All right.
And it's really important for me to put my phone away for a few hours
Yeah,
and
totally, man.
not think about anything but what I'm doing there. So yeah, no, golf is pretty much the only other thing I do. I like to drink. I like to like I hang
Not
out
for
with my
you
dad.
kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to.
So yeah,
I love sports. I love watching,
yeah.
NFL Sunday and college football. So it's super important being in a band to have your own life and to have your own things that you can do outside of it. Otherwise, you'll literally go insane.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So one thing I want to ask people every time I talk to them is common guitar question. I'm just like a nerd about this, but
Yeah.
how do you play your G chord? Because there's so many ways to play it, and I've noticed that everyone's different.
Let's see. I'll
So,
put this on a clean
like if I
tone.
say, yeah, if I say, give me a G, show me like your voicing the way you would immediately go to it.
It's the
Okay, so you got
so
the
it's
three finger.
pinky and ring finger
Okay,
on the B and the E3,
three.
and then three on the low E.
Okay, that's the way I play. I don't know if I showed you that one,
That's the way you
but
taught me.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
cool. So that's the right way, everyone. That's how you
yeah,
should play it.
exactly. I mean, I know
So,
you can obviously do,
yeah.
but
So
that's
yeah, the way you're playing it right now is kind of like the Angus Young G5. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because it has the G, it has the D's in it, but it would be still a full. But it actually doesn't have any B's in it, which is why it sounds so powerful.
exactly.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you knew that, but yeah, man, it's like that's why I love it so much. When
I
you add
think
those B's, sometimes they get muddy in the like the two or
yeah.
the open. So
I'm pretty sure you showed it to me because we were doing like time of your life.
oh yeah. So again, Billy Joe, right? Going back
And
to it.
yeah, and then you can go straight to the C from there too. So that's I've never played it another way. Like
Yeah.
I know there's obviously a bunch of ways, but like and then there's obviously power chord. There's the basic one that you kind of learn first, and then that's the metal one right there though.
Nice. All right, so let's do it. You know, I got to ask you, what is your go-to riff or your favorite riff of all time? And I'm
Ooh,
going to guess Cowboys from Hell, but it's probably something else just because that's too
Cowboys
easy.
is up there. Cowboys is up there. Let me
Too
see.
easy to guess. I mean, it's not an easy riff.
Yeah, Cowboys is like it's you got to think like what's the riff that like when you're testing a guitar you go to,
Yeah,
right?
I actually, yeah. So
That's a good question. Oh man, that's so
it's a
tough.
tough question, right? Like you can't
Yeah,
think.
to an extent, I want to say
So,
like Panama
okay.
or like I forgot how to play it, but
Yeah, so that's because I
Cowboys
asked you. Because you're
Cowboys
on the spot, bro. I know, man.
Cowboys is good, but I think like it's so cliche and it's so basic, but if a guitar doesn't sound good with like
Yeah, I mean, you got to have Sandman.
and then
Like E5, man.
like it's so basic, but that's just like your kind of go-to. And that riff, I mean, there's so many Metallica riffs that that you can. It's a tough.
I agree, man. You got
That's
like
a
Harvester of Sorrow Sick,
yeah.
Seek and Destroy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know,
I forgot how to play that too. So,
that's close enough though. You know what I
there's
mean?
always like like that verse riff in Paradise City was always
Yeah, I remember we worked on that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
that one's up there. Yeah, there's so many. There's
I
so
know,
many,
man.
but I forget how to play that riff. I don't know.
So if you guys know Breed already, you'll be familiar with the song "Nonstop Misery." So Matt, I remember came up with that riff, and that's kind of something we fleshed out, and then the band fleshed it out like even like so much more and recorded it, which was so sick. Can you give us like a taste of that riff?
Yeah, so that riff's
Remember when
fantastic.
you came up with it? Like, were you just like messing around, or was that just like you heard it in your head, or like,
I remember I think I was like 14 or 15 and I wanted to get into songwriting. Like I had, knew every cover under the sun by that point, but I was really trying to get my own identity and learn how to write my own stuff. So I think I was just like messing around with mixing chords and scales. And it's a super simple riff. There's like
Yeah.
some string skipping, but like um yeah, I don't really remember too. I just remember that being like the first song that like I could call my own. Obviously,
Yeah.
like you
I
helped
remember
me.
I heard it and I'm like, dude, what was that?
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
can
So
you give us a little taste of that riff?
yeah, for sure. It's in half step. I'm in standard.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
like yeah, it's like the
Hear it
basic
in my
rock
head.
and roll thing.
So
Like kind of, it's got like a almost like a Pearl Jammy vibe to it. So it's pretty
okay,
simple.
yeah.
And when you build it up and you put heavy drums behind it and big vocals, it starts to sound like heavy metal. But then
Oh
there's
yeah,
like
it's massive, man.
there's this cool verse part that's kind of like groovy. Or,
Kind of takes it down that octave. Yeah.
and I just yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
as basic of a song. It's like your basic rock and roll song, and yeah, that was the first song we kind of completed as a band
Like
and
yeah,
could
man.
call it, which we don't play it as much in the set list anymore, just because we've gotten heavier and we've we're playing shows with heavier bands, so it's hard to throw like a rock and
Yeah.
roll in there.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I get you. You gotta kind
but
of like
that
have a
song will
riff
always have a
contest.
very special place in my heart. And that's the first like real guitar solo I ever wrote too.
Yeah, it
So
was a sick solo, man.
thank you,
Nice.
man.
So Matt Bloom of Breed, what is your number one album you can't live without?
Appetite for Destruction, Guns N'
Okay, I
Roses.
mean that's yeah. You know, it's like the best selling debut of all time.
100%, rightfully
And I
so.
think it's like yeah, it's insane. I think it's like
Like that
17
that
million
was
or
the first
something.
that was the first album start to
Yeah,
finish. Like I found I couldn't like skip a song. Like
yeah,
that maybe like Dookie by Green Day were just
yeah.
like
I
those
mean
were
that's a
the
classic. That's yeah,
yeah.
that's out of control.
Do you remember the day we sat down and learned Dookie
Oh
all the way
yeah,
through and like
yeah. We put I think we went on Ultimate Guitar. We pulled up a tab. It had like
yeah,
every song.
we just like
So
played through it. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, let's do it. You're like, oh, okay.
yeah.
And it was just yeah, you have to go, man. Power
Yeah.
chords,
There's so many that you
Volta.
can get
It
into
was so
like
sick. Yeah. Dude, mid '90s Green Day is like, especially that album era, is just like so sick.
it's peak.
You had the Strat with the JB, the
Yeah,
curve,
yeah,
the tilt on it, man, super sick.
yeah.
So
Just like as
Billy
punk
Joe,
rock.
man, you guys got to bring it back to that era, bro.
Yeah,
So,
man. Yeah, they've gone on some
so
weird stuff, but I still love them, still support them.
yeah, guys, you gave us a lot, man. We appreciate it. So that's
But
awesome. So is
easily
there anything you? Oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
appetite all day. The
No,
solos,
appetite.
the riffs, the mix
I
of
mean, you
Izzy.
can't go wrong. I mean, you know,
No,
but
no,
all those people can't be wrong, you know.
exactly.
So, so is there any advice you would give, like, say, guitar players starting out now? I know you've been trekking along for a while now, and obviously Breed is on its way. I know you guys are going to blow up. So, you know, you might have someone down the line that comes back to this video and be like, look, you know, this is
Yeah.
pretty cool. So what would you tell, like, the guy who's into metal going into the shop or just, you know, getting his first guitar?
I would think again it's probably kind of cliche, but the most important thing is that you love it 100% and that you're
Sure.
willing to make a lot of sacrifices. Whether it be um your own mental health, relationships, financial sacrifices.
Hmm.
It takes a lot to make it work, but
Especially with gear, yeah.
yeah, with gear and with starting a band and going on the road and it's a lot of work, but if you believe in it and you believe in yourself and you're playing what you want to play, um, then I think just passion and love for the music first is the most important thing, and anything that's difficult or any roadblocks you hit, don't feel um, like it's not the end of the world because you're doing what you love and you know that it's all it means to an end. Everybody has to work some crappy day job for a
For
bit
sure.
to make ends meet. Everybody has to again make sacrifices, but when you love it and when you step on that stage and people are singing your songs or you can when you can see your music in like affecting people, that's the ultimate payoff. But yeah, just love what you do and play what you love, and whatever that means for you, play that and just have fun with it. Have fun with it. You gotta you got to find the right group of guys if you're looking to start a band. You got to all work together and learn how to communicate and learn how to, um, yeah, just learn how to love each other. And
Yeah, man.
it's never an overnight thing. No matter how good you are, you could have the next Enter Sandman under your belt, but in the digital age, it's a lot harder to get heard and to cut through the
Oh, for sure, man. It's
cut
like
through all the bullshit.
whole game's changed, man.
Yeah, but yeah, just love it and be passionate about it and live it every single day. There's always something you could be doing to get to where you want to be every day.
I agree. That's well
So
said, man. Well said. Cheers
yeah,
to that.
and grow your hair out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, man.
That's
See, when I met Matt, right, he had like pretty shorter hair, right?
yeah,
And
yeah. Had to get it
so
going, man.
I gotta say, bro, this is the playbook right here. Listen
Yeah,
to this
there you go,
guy.
dude.
So before we get to wrapping up, is there any final things you want to give us about like where can we get the album? Where can we check out the music? What social media you guys going on, and
Yeah, so
anything like that.
you can find us on Instagram, breedband.official,
Mm.
YouTube, breed the band, all one word. You can find us Spotify if you look up breed nonstop misery or whatever song. Our YouTube, we got all kinds of music videos and stuff. And we've got 4 new songs recorded, mixed, mastered that I think we're probably going to drop as 4, either 3 or 4 individual singles, and then we might pull them together as a whole. But yeah, so keep your eye out for that. I think mid-November we'll drop our first one with a super cool music video that we shot with our buddy Caleb. And yeah, and come watch us live because that's the most real experience you can get with
I
us.
agree. Yeah, your wild shows are live, wild, man. So I definitely recommend checking out this band live. I saw some of the early shows. I got to get to some of the more recent ones, but everything in good time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Cool. All right, so you want to play us out, man, as we head out? Just a little
Yeah.
shredding. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by again. We thank Matt from Breed. Check out the album, check out the videos, check out the Instagrams, and check out that guitar plan. Thank you guys for stopping by. Peace out, Matt. Thank you again, bro.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, and we'll see you soon. All right.
Cool. All the best, brother.